From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast with Scott Sander.
Welcome to the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast. I'm Scott Sander. On this episode,
it is time for our success story. Rockland Page started his business apparel design and manufacturing company in the basement of his home up in Merrillville, Indiana. A recent grant from the Small Business Administration has made it possible for him to move to a new location in Indianapolis.
Every business is unique and has a target audience. If you own or manage a business, Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble, offering best-in-class results, service, and support to reach a bigger customer base, allowing you to pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. Get outside the city, the state, span the globe. Put Circulus Digital Media to work for you. Get started now at circulusdigital.com. That's circulusdigital.com.
My name is Rockland Page. Everybody calls me Rock. And we're in my new location in Indianapolis, the Rock Block Design Studio, located at 1332 North Illinois. It has been quite a journey. I started out doing graphic design in Chicago. So I grew up here in Indianapolis. I went to Tech High School, graduated in class of 2000, went on to major in fine arts at Ball State University. And when I graduated, I wanted to get out of the city for a little bit. I wanted to move to a big city. So when I found out that a company called Johnson Publishing, which published Jet and Ebony magazines, was located in Chicago, I sent in a resume and a portfolio, and they hired me. So I was a senior designer there for 4 years. Got to do some really great things, work on some really cool projects, and be a part of Black History, as that was one of the largest Black-owned publications in the country. So after 4 years there, I went on to the Chicago Tribune, where I was an art director for 7 years, and moved on to an engineering firm. I'm in the creative services department. And even though it paid well, it was anything but creative. It was one of the most boring jobs I've ever had in my life. And it just really started to kill my spirit after a while. I didn't go to art school to do PowerPoint presentations. After a lot of deliberation and just going back and forth with a friend of mine, she encouraged me to actually go into the t-shirt business. So I started just researching on how to, make t-shirts myself without, paying, tens of thousands of dollars. And finally, I bit the bullet. I took out a $10,000 personal loan, and I put it towards the equipment. I started making t-shirts out of my basement. And this was more so just a creative outlet. So in 2017, I launched rockablock.com out of my basement. But I knew I wanted my products to look like they came from a store shelf. I didn't want them to know it came from this dimly lit basement with a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling and, clutter all around. And slowly but surely started building up over time. And I was still terrified. I was still wondering if people would like what I was going to do. But I had to think about it. Steve Jobs started from his garage. So many other people started from their basements or had no real experience. They just had a passion for something and went for it. So I launched it. It, had some moderate success. And then over time, I started to do pop-up shops and events. It just started taking off from there. People started seeing my stuff around the city, around Chicago, around Indianapolis. And just bit by bit, it began to grow. And so I was able to do this in my basement, still, very tight quarters, still very low-key. And I was actually preparing for 2020. Because I just knew 2020 was going to be my year. I was going to be doing all these events. I was going to go to all these conferences and expos and carnivals and whatnot, and just to sell my stuff. And so right after I bought all this equipment, it hit. We had a shutdown, and all of a sudden everything that I was going to do, all the events, all the speaking engagements, everything just got canceled one by one. But then out of nowhere, I started getting orders from all around the country, from LA to New York to Texas to New Orleans to all over the place, people I didn't know. What I had done before, I paid a $25 registration fee to get on this website called Black Owned Chicago. When you look up, Black owned t-shirt businesses, I came up. And so this was in the midst of, all the riots and police shootings and everything. And so I think people really want to support Black owned businesses. So I just got this huge influx of orders. I mean, nothing outrageous, but still more than what I was used to. And then out of nowhere, I got an email from her producer at ABC7 Chicago. And they said they loved my brand, they found it online, and they wanted to interview me on air. And I was like, I've never been on TV before. And so he asked me some questions about my brand, what I was doing. And I just remember the last thing he asked me was, so Rockland, what's next? And I just felt so I was buzzing. I said, I don't know, I just want to get out of the basement. And I really wish I had said something smoother or cooler, but that's what I ended on. He said, well, good luck to you, and I love your shirt. And I was actually wearing a variation of this shirt. And so seconds after I got off the air, my phone just blew up with orders from all over Chicago, all over Indianapolis, and surrounding areas. And so all of a sudden, people knew who I was. It still wasn't quite an overnight success, but I knew that if I wanted Rockland Block to succeed, I needed to, in fact, get out of the basement. A few months later, I found a location not far from my house, signed a lease, and opened up the Rockland Block shop in Merrillville in March of 2021. And so that helped launch my business to a much higher level. It was definitely a challenge, but I didn't regret that one bit. I was able to get so many more opportunities. Several other TV appearances. I applied for a pitch competition called the P&W Big Sale Pitch Competition, in which I decided to pitch a talking t-shirt, an augmented reality enhanced t-shirt that taught Black history, and I won. And so from there, I was able to get some more local press coverage, being introduced to some more opportunities. And during that entire time, I got plugged in with the Small Business Development Center. And from there, the staff, especially a woman named Lori Felt, took a liking to me and really, saw something in me, and helped me out with all kinds of support. Whether it was just telling me to apply for certain grants, giving me guidance, helping me work on projections, being an overall encouragement to me. And just so many things have happened in that time, in those 4 years I was in Merrillville. As I began to get bigger orders for items, I began to do more shipping. I knew I needed a bigger place, and I really wanted to involve the community in what I was doing, because I was doing comedy shows, poetry readings, all these things in my space. And it seemed like I needed to go somewhere where that was more prevalent. I decided to take my chances here in Indianapolis. And it's been a harrowing journey. And so now that I'm getting orders from larger institutions, I got a contract with the Museum of Science industry for their shirts for their Black Creativity Gala. So that's up to 1,000 shirts at a time. I've done shirts for iHeartMedia. Most recently fulfilled an order for the Obama Foundation. And so I'm definitely working these corporate relationships. And I'm really starting to pivot my business to doing just pop-up shops and events and just selling individual shirts to customers via my site. I still do that, but now I'm focusing more on B2B, where I'm trying to look for retailers such as museums, stores, and other institutions that actually want to sell my products in their stores, or doing custom contract printing for organizations such as the Obama Foundation. And I'm learning to not just be an artist or a designer, but actually a business owner and a CEO, and I'm actually learning to be a boss now. And so that's super challenging. It's fun, it's challenging at the same time. And there are definitely some days I come in here and I have no idea what I'm doing. It's just, you have to go with your gut, and you're gonna make mistakes. I've made plenty of mistakes. Ultimately, I just had to trust my gut and go on faith. And so now being here in Indianapolis, it's a whole new challenge. Even though I grew up in the city, coming back after 20 years, in so many ways it feels like a whole new place. And one thing that really drove me to come here is just the change in the art scene. When I left, I feel like there really wasn't much here for me, but now there's other things going on where we don't have to wait till certain times of year. There's something going on all the time. And just to see the acceptance of art and culture and innovation here really encouraged me to come here versus going to Chicago, because I feel that I can really make my mark here. And not just within Indianapolis or Indiana, but ultimately the entire nation.
Our thanks again to all the contributors who joined us for this episode of the Business Equity and Opportunities Podcast. We hope you found it enlightening, useful, and inspiring. You'll find more information about the show on our website, BEOshow.com. You can watch Business Equity and Opportunities Sunday mornings at 10 on Wish TV, or live stream it through wishtv.com. Each week we provide 7 full segments with topics ranging from how to get started and how to access capital to the day-to-day running of your business and questions about accounting and bookkeeping. We feature business news and trends and always share a success story from one of our contributors. Join us next time for more insights into the world of small business. Be sure to sign up for our Business Equity and Opportunities newsletter to get even more valuable, up-to-date information. And if you have any questions or you'd like to be part of our show, please email us. The address is beo@wishtv.com. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Scott Sander. Thanks for listening.
Watch the Business Equity and Opportunities Show on Wish TV and access all of our content and share it on demand anytime at BEOshow.com. You can find more podcasts from Wish TV on the All Indiana Podcast Network at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.